Good morning and welcome back to Nelson Creek. I'm Dave, coming to you live from one of the local home centers. Had a lot of questions last week about the light bulbs, so by golly, today we're going to cover a little bit more on the different types of bulbs out there to answer your questions that you had for me about the LED light bulbs. Now there's a huge assortment of bulbs these days, and I hope to be able to answer some of your questions about what we've got going on with lights these days. Let's start off with just the average run-of-the-mill 60-watt light bulbs. You have soft white colors, you have what they call bright white, and if we go up past the display, you have what they call daylight. Now these soft whites end up giving you kind of an orange colored light or amber. I always said it reminded me of my grandmother's dirty lampshades in her living room. You know, the ones with about a quarter of an inch of dust in it and some fly trails through it. Yeah. Then there's the bright white. That gives you the most true white colored light bulb, akin to that of the old incandescents. And then you have the daylight. That's kind of a bluish gray color, and it's been advised by the National Lighting Institute, at least I believe that's who it was that sent us out a note, that said the daylight bulbs that put out the bluish gray white light should never be used anywhere makeup is being applied, like a bedroom, bathroom, or theater, as it'll give false colors so the makeup will come out looking odd. Or you should never use it anywhere food prep is being done, especially around fish or lamb, as it'll give it some colors, make it look like it's been spoiled. So keep that in mind when you're selecting your screw-in style light bulbs. And now, to answer the question about the fluorescent light bulb replacements. As with the screw-in style bulb, you have a lot of different colors. And really, regardless of the color, folks, try to go with the yellow stripe on the label. That'll give you the most true white color, similar to that of the old incandescent light bulbs. Now, of course, you do have the blues and whatnot for the cool whites for the fluorescents. Personally, I'm going to go with these right here. Welcome back to the shop, everybody. I had to get out of the box store that was in town. Just too dadgum noisy in there. And I've still got noise in here, what with the fluorescent lights humming. But we're going to talk about my purchase and how that goes. Most all of your new fluorescent tubes that are LED are going to have an illustration or some sort of idea on there what style of pin you have on the end, whether it's single or twins like these. The twins is the most common. This is a 4-foot LED direct replacement bulb. You want it to say that or something similar. That means you can use these LED light bulbs with the ballast in the old fluorescent lamps. Some of these that don't say direct replacement that are LED may not work with a ballast. You may fry them. So yeah, make sure it says something to that effect on it, okay? And it tells you right here, replaces your current fluorescent tubes. So this is totally compatible with your existing fluorescent fixtures that have a ballast in them. The ballast is a little black box that you usually can't see because it's hidden up behind the tubes. Now, here's something else that's a benefit for some folks. I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not, but yeah, that says shatter resistant. These tubes are no longer glass, folks. They are plastic. Yeah, they're plastic, so they are shatter resistant. Now, here's the next bugaboo, and everybody argues with this, okay? The bright white is 3000 K. That number right there does not mean how much light, let me hang on to it with both hands here. That number right there, that 3000 K, does not mean how much light it puts out. It tells you what color of light you have being put out. The higher that number, the more you end up in the white and then the blue range. It's just like grading the color output of stars. They range anywhere from a little red dwarf to a great big white supernova. Okay, same idea here. The higher that number, the more white or end up looking almost bluish gray color you get when you get up around the 5,000 mark. There's your lumens. Now that is actually your light output. Lumens is how much light you get out of any light bulb, not that 5,000K or 3,000K, that number. That is not how much light it actually puts out. That's what color of light you get out of it. Go back down here. That lumens, that's your light output, folks, are right there. Now, the T number, T12, okay, that goes along with this. The diameter of the tube, which is about 1.5 inches, okay? There's T8s, T5s, T3s, whatever, and those all relate to the diameter of the tube. So you need to know that as well. Don't believe that 35,000 hours either. The reason why I say don't believe that 35,000 hours is because it's 5 o'clock Friday somewhere and somebody's looking to get the heck out of the shop where they make these light bulbs. Yeah. Anyway, I hope this explains some of the problems that are going on with what people think they're getting when they're doing light bulbs, especially this K number. This is true on both fluorescent and screw-in and the little twisty fluorescent. It's true on all of them. This is not the light output. This is what color of light you get out of it. Your light output is lumens, okay? So the several things you need to remember when you're switching over to the LED bulbs: what size the bulb is, T8, T12, T5, whatever, single pin or double pin, and what length it is. Yeah. That's the next key critical thing. Now to install these bulbs, we're going to pick on this light right up here above me that has 2 burned out actual fluorescents, and we'll install these in there just to see what it looks like and how it does. So let me go get a ladder and I'll be right back. There is one thing I want to show you though on these tubes before I install them, and that is you got all your warning labels and everything, and if you keep going up, you see this dark streak running through here? That you will want up towards the base or the fixture of your light. You'll want that strip up against that. The reason being is this strip is where all the little diodes are that light up. So if you have this facing down towards your work area, you're going to have not really a shadow, but you won't get the full amount of light. So make sure you rotate that bulb so all you see is plain white. Now this ladder is a little bit wobbly, so if I fall down, you all have my permission to laugh. Yes, you do. Okay, as with anything that's electric, make sure you kill the power source to it before you work on it. And in this case, these lights actually plug into an outlet up here. So I'm going to unplug it before I remove the old fluorescent tubes. Okay, now again, I've just located the strip. It's right here. It's with the warning labels, so I know I need to rotate it up and to the back as I put it in. So install it as normal, like a normal bulb, and turn it so that the label is up here towards the back. Okay. Rotate it that quarter of a turn. Both of them are locked in place. Both of them are in good and tight. You can tell by just tugging on them a little bit. So let's plug it in and see what happens. And if it don't work, you're witnessing it just like I am. Guess what? They work, but they put out more noise than the old fluorescent. So I don't know that that's a win, folks. Yeah, I really don't. So we may end up putting in those brooder style lights and screw-in light bulbs. Yeah. Yeah, that ain't cool. That flickering light kind of reminds me of a flasher on a cold winter's day. Can't make up its mind if he's going to flash you or not. Well, I, for one, am horribly disappointed in the performance of those light bulbs. I don't know that I'm going to chalk it up to the light bulb, the fluorescent tube or the LED tube having the issue. I'm going to call it more cheap lights. I think at one point in time, these light fixtures were like $8.99. They were dirt cheap. So I'm going to chalk it up to a fixture. We're going to leave this one run though right quick, and we're going to talk about the other thing that I had a lot of comments on, and that was the gizmo I built to blow out water out of my sprinkler systems. So let's jump into that. Well, that's doing whatever it's going to do, and we'll see if it warms up and quits making noise and buzzing. Now, the reason why I built this gizmo was because I had seen this setup at the orange big box store in town that ran $49.22. So I'm thinking I can build one cheaper than what this is. I already had what I would call the majority of this particular sprinkler blowout deal. I had this brass fitting that has female garden hose threads on it and female 1/2-inch pipe threads on it. I already had this 1/2 to 1/4 inch brass bushing that the industrial style plug is screwed into. So all I needed was the ball valve and this little nipple. That was $2 and this was $12. So there's $14 worth of stuff sitting there. Now there are less expensive versions on the market that are machined out of one piece of brass. They have the air plug coupling thing on one end and the either male or female garden hose threads on the other end. So this is what the combination looks like, and they're advertising these as being sold via a company called Everbuilt for sprinkler blowouts and RV water line blowouts. Now they're advertising that twin pack kit at $8.99. Now for my purposes, the next one at $3.99 would have worked very well. And if I would have done my research, I could have bought the single female garden hosed ended valve assembly out of that twin pack at my local Walmart for $11.88, as seen right here. After I built this, I discovered that last one I just showed you, and I could have bought it, but the only thing that concerns me is the flimsy handle and on that little itty bitty 1/4 inch ball valve, and that it is 1/4 inch. I still like to have this as a bigger piece to get more air volume through, but in this 1/2 inch ball valve is definitely a lot sturdier than that little 1/4 inch thing. So I wanted to control the airflow as well. So that's why I went with the ball valve over just the single little thing you plug the pipe into. Yeah, I could have unhooked the garden hose or the air hose off of that, which you're more than welcome to do if you want to go that route. But I preferred to hook it up and have a little more control for whatever reason. So maybe it's just me, but that's why I built this thing. But I think you guys would probably be happy with this one as well. So anyway, that's why I built that. That's going to wrap it up for today. The light is still buzzing, but it hasn't started to smoke yet. Yay. And yeah, I think we're going to call it quits for now. This one's run long enough as it is. So thank you for subscribing to all the new subscribers out there. We've picked up quite a few this last week, and we're over the 600 subscriber mark now. Yay! So let's see if we can hit 1,000 by the end of the year. Anyway, stay tuned every middle of the week for the weeks and tips and tricks of homesteading and prepping videos that I'm going to be doing. And then usually around the weekends, I will have a full video on what I'm doing around the farm. Now, in one of the last videos, I did mention a young lady that I have become acquainted with that is familiar with organic produce stuff. Spoke to her again yesterday, very willing to come out and lend a hand to get the fresh produce gardens up and running for 2024. So we're still working out the details on that, but hopefully, knock on some hard wood, we'll have it up and running. So make sure you stay tuned for all that, because next year's going to be a happening year. It's got to be. Anyway, I'm Farmer Dave, wishing you all well, and don't forget, right down there, that big red button, if you would. Subscribe, please, if you can. And if you don't want to, well, that's okay. Just follow along. As always, wishing you well. Talk to you later. Bye-bye now. Well, I guess we always live and learn, right? Yeah.